Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm Flizanes, your empowerment strategist, producer, and winemaker. Thank you for downloading today's episode. Today, we're going to talk about the connection between manifesting or manifestation and core wounds. Now, before we get started, I want to announce that I have revived a manifestation challenge. We are now going to be doing a 14-day free manifestation challenge live. And the next one starts this Friday, February 16th. So if you're interested in joining the free 14-day manifestation challenge, please go to jjflizanes.com/14day, 14day. Now, if you've done a challenge with me before, this will be similar with a slight upgrade. And my goal here is to make it better and better and better and run them several times during the year. If you've never done one before, you do need to register, and the accountability happens on Facebook, but you get provided tools for free to use during the 14 days, but they're not tools to keep. Well, some of them are, but there are some audios that I've created for you to use, and I will be adding more to that library as we continue and do the next one. So this first one is just to say, welcome back. Happy 2024. Let's get back on board with exercising our ability to manifest and to focus and to vibrate at a higher level to allow in that which we want. Again, jjflizanes.com/14day, 14day. Now, the reason I'm talking about this stuff today is because I was thinking back to when I first started my podcast in 2014. September will be my 10-year. I think I want to have some kind of fun show, some kind of compilation or something to celebrate 10 years of podcasting in September. But I was thinking back to why Spirit, Purpose, and Energy became my most popular show, and why after 2 years of playing with different content and offering lots of different subject matters, and when I finally took the 6-day-a-week show and made it 6 different shows, why Spirit, Purpose, and Energy became the most important, most downloaded, most shared, most talked about, and I had the biggest impact there. And it was because I was learning about manifestation and law of attraction, using it in my life, seeing it everywhere, teaching my clients, and it was lighting me up. And so, of course, when I had my Freedom Fridays on Fit to Love, it was my favorite day to talk about things that I don't normally talk about, or I don't feel like I have permission to talk about with clients at the time, or family or friends. So it was my outlet. My podcast became my outlet, my permission from myself to allow myself to be seen and heard and put it out there into the world, whether you listened, cared, liked it, or not. So as I think back to the manifesting, the law of attraction conversations, and then sort of slowly moving into, in 2019, starting my first mastermind, which was actually 2020. I sold it in 2019, but we actually started the first mastermind in 2020. When I think about the conversations we were having then and the conversations I'm having now, I definitely can see for the average person, and I know a lot of you have been with me for a long time, so if you're still here, I'm so happy about that. And congratulations and thank you. If you're new, maybe what we're talking about now is of more interest to you. So what I'm going to explain about manifesting will be a new topic for you. And if you're someone who kind of comes in and out because you think I've gone down a weird path of all of a sudden I'm talking about deep emotions and why aren't we talking about manifestation, law of attraction anymore? I want to bridge that gap for you today. So first, let's talk about law of attraction in a very simplistic way. What is it? Why do you want to know about it? Does it work? Is it real? So law of attraction is quantum physics, and it's the principle that like attracts like, and things that are of similar frequency or vibration are attracted to each other. It's the understanding that when you're listening to a radio dial and see here in California, we've got like a Latino station that I love. It's 96.3. But we also have sort of the pop station, which is 102.7. Well, if I want to hear the Latino music and the reggaeton, I'm not going to hear it at 102.7. I have to turn my dial. Well, it's not a dial anymore, but I have to punch the numbers in. I have to move that frequency to the number in which that frequency emits the music I'm looking for. We all understand it when it comes to televisions and radio, but we dismiss it when it comes to our own frequencies and our own lives. Law of attraction is that you are always attracting. There is no you're doing it or you're not doing it. You attract, you're the creator of your own reality. Everything everything in your life that's coming to you is because you're attracting it. Now, are you doing it consciously? Probably not, especially the things that you don't like. But when you want to focus on things that you do want, in order for you to get the things that you do want, you have to be in vibrational alignment with the things that you want in order for you to get it. Now, some of you are going to understand that straight away, and some of you are thinking, well, how do I do that? So let's look at what has happened over the last couple of years as I started to manifest things that I wanted, and I was working with and using law of attraction practices and things to do in order to increase my frequency. And I would get what I wanted little bits at a time, let's say in a past relationship, and I would see it working, but it wasn't sustainable. And part of it was because I was trying to put a square peg in a round hole, so to speak. And I was sort of coming down and saying, okay, this is what I'm working with, therefore this is what I'm going to settle for. And as I started to just use these principles to increase my frequency, life took care of itself. Things fell away that didn't match anymore, and things came into my life that did match. And for those of you that know what I'm talking about, you've seen a huge transformation in me and my life since that happened. So what changed? What is that about? Well, that's about allowing myself to allow in more. That's about changing the subconscious programming in my mind that says I have to take care of other people at the expense of what I want to do. I have to work with their limitations and not go beyond that, not challenge that. There are many ways in which we prostitute ourselves for love. If you haven't heard that episode, it's a pretty good one. Go back and find your inner prostitute. But it's also recognizing that the agreements, the contracts, the jobs, the relationships, the situations that we get into might be temporary if you're on a growth path. I'm on a growth path. I think you're on a growth path because you're listening to me. So what that means is you might be moving faster or more deliberately in a direction of unlayering, of letting go of things that stop you, of wanting to allow in more and figuring out how to do that. When The Secret first came out years ago and people became more aware of law of attraction, and I had been working with law of attraction before that movie came out, all people heard, well, not everybody, but a lot of people heard, if I just put up a vision board, if I say affirmations, that I'm going to make $1 million, I'm going to get $1 million, I'm going to get the love of my life if I put up a vision board. And they didn't understand sort of the meat and potatoes of how it works, which is about how you feel, what you emit, what you emanate, what energy you put out into the world. And that's what this is really about. It's about energy. And when it comes to law of attraction and emotions are our sort of indicators of our energy. Emotions are our way to tell where our energy is. Are we focused on something that brings up negative emotions? Are we in scarcity or lack of trust? Or are we feeling full of love and freedom and trust and openness and oneness? Our feelings are our indicators for where we are on the vibrational scale. So when you're in fear, but you want something that lives in a place of joy, you can't get it because you're literally one of the examples that I've given over the years that people seem to gravitate towards and understand and like is the idea of let's say a 7 or 10 story building. Okay. And imagine that each story represents a level of frequency of emotion. And if I'm on the first floor, I have no idea what's going on the 10th floor because I'm not on the 10th floor. All I can see and hear and experience is what's on the first floor. So when it comes to frequency, what floor are you on? And what floor do you want to be on? And what does that look like? And what needs to be let go of or change in order for you to get to the 10th floor where what you think you want is? That's where the personal development comes into play. And so looking at emotions, looking at relationships, looking at what gets in the way of that? And then throughout the years, what ended up coming into my awareness was obviously Gay Hendricks' work, The Big Leap. And really, to me, that became the reason why, that explained why people who think positive thoughts, that say positive things, that have their vision board, that pray, that think they're happy, okay? Think they're happy. I am sure that if I ask you to think about someone who you've met who appears to be something that they're not. Maybe it's they're projecting happiness or confidence, but you can feel the insecurity. I bet if I ask you to focus on that for a minute, you can think of a situation or somebody where they were sort of being one way. They wanted you to believe something, but you could sense or feel without trying too hard that it wasn't the truth. So when it comes to law of attraction, when it comes to the thinking and the feeling, it's about the feelings. Now, the thinking can help you get to the feelings, but it's about what energy you have, what energy is being stored, what energy is being emanated. Even if you try the darndest to say all the right things and act as happy as you can and be positive all the freaking time, but what's underneath that is fear or anger. You can't outrun that. So when the big leap came into my life and I realized to me what that was the definition of why someone can't allow in more. It's why it's not black and white, law of attraction, be happy, be in alignment, feel really good, and you're going to get everything you want. Well, no, why can't people sustain that feeling? There are reasons why you can't sustain that feeling. So it's just been this constant deeper dive into why can't we get what we want? What's preventing that? What blocks that? Because I've had a lot of people over the years say, yeah, I tried, it didn't work. Well, it didn't work because you didn't really understand the work. You didn't understand the emotional piece. And it isn't as simple. Again, on one end, it is very simple. It's about your frequency. But for most of you, you have no idea what that means. And you don't know what to do with it. And you don't know how to change it. So when we look at personal development and we look at the reasons why, so I'll use Gay's terms of upper limiting. So to me, law of attraction and let's say the big leap, this is all about what you will allow in. There is a psychological framework where you believe you deserve a certain amount of love, success, and abundance. And past that, anything more than that, you subconsciously don't believe you deserve that. You may want it, but there might be blocks and beliefs, AKA core wounds, that get in the way of you allowing in more. Because that's the name of the game. That's what an upper limit is. It's where you get to the edge of that temperature gauge, if you will, that zone of here's the bubble of what I think I'm allowing in, of what I think I deserve. And past that, my body and my fear goes up, and my body starts to tell me it's afraid. I get kinks in my neck. My stomach starts to go. I start sabotaging myself because subconsciously, I have a belief that says, I don't deserve more. I don't know how to handle more. I don't know how to be to allow in more. So that was a pivotal moment in my learning over the last 10 years to add that into the law of attraction work and put them together and go, okay, this is it. Okay, this is what we do. You learn law of attraction, and then you understand your upper limits so that you know when you're hitting one and you know what to do about it. And then when you know what to do about it, how do I stretch into the next level of being so I can allow in more, can allow in more of the things that I'm asking for. Because again, if you want something you've never had before, and I'm talking to myself right now too as I'm saying this, if you want something you've never had before, you have to be someone you've never been before. Yeah. I hope that hit you as much as that just hit me. So, and that's the name of the game, everybody. Now, throughout the big leap work and looking at that, I've always been doing alongside of that the core wounds. But over the years of doing it with the Empowerment Strategists and then with other clients, and then I thought, I make it deeper and deeper. I'm always about finding the fastest path, clarity, and the fast path to do something about it. You may tell me a fact, and it's a fact. I'm observing a fact. Okay, so what does that mean for me, and what do I do with it? So what I have developed over the course of the last couple of years, 3, 4, 5 years, is something called a core wound map. I take you through a core wound exercise and we extract from it, which I wasn't doing in the beginning because to me, I'm the type of learner that when you make it, like when I'm aware of it and I don't like it, I will immediately change my behavior because I can't unsee it anymore. But I recognize that's a sad thing. Not everybody's like that. You may be aware of it and not like it, but you don't know how to change it because maybe there are other influences in your chart, influences in your love languages, influences in your dynamic of your relationships and definitely in your core wounds that may challenge that. So looking at core wounds is the next most logical step because it starts to uncover the beliefs that we have that we don't know that we have. Things like, I felt devalued growing up. I felt ignored growing up. Now, imagine having a core wound of devalued. If you have a core wound of devalued and you're not aware of it, then you're probably sabotaging all the time, anytime you're trying to get to the next level, because you don't feel worthy, because your upbringing said to you, you are not of value. And what's been really fun and interesting throughout this process in this creating this core wound map, because I've been perfecting it over the years, and I think we're done. I think I've extracted and used it to my best of my ability. I have what I'm going to consider the perfect core wound map, which is understanding not only what your core wounds are and what your circuitry pattern is the minute you get triggered, but it's also understanding how you keep it alive, how you continually feed it, how you continually strengthen that wound by your own behavior and your own choices. Now, when you understand that, these become the things that are what is sabotaging you. These things are messages from you. These are emanating vibrational messages to the universe saying, I don't think I'm worthy. So I may verbally say and consciously say that I want this thing, but deep inside, I don't believe I'm worthy. Therefore, I'm going to sabotage every time I get close to getting it. So to me, they're a perfect fit, because you can't manifest more than you're allowing in. And if you can't allow in more, you're never going to get out of this cycle. We have to be able to grow, but we need to understand how and why. How can I grow? What's in the way? What are the belief systems that I have deep inside of me that I need to change and I need to shift? And that's what the core wound work is. And for a lot of people, I know it's deep. It's confronting. You're going to be challenged in the Rewiring Your Core Wound Pattern program. It's a very active program. I was talking with someone who's considering doing it, and she said, oh, I love doing courses, but what I need to do is actually be in action. So no, I'm not going to do it. And I said, oh, no, hold on. No, we're not. This is not theory. I'm actually reverting back to my personal training days, where part of this map is uncovering what you need to be in action doing. And part of the first 3 months of this Rewire and Evolve program, because there's 6 months, the first 3 months are rewiring your core wound patterns. And the second 6 months is called Evolving Beyond Your Story. But let's go back to the first 3 months, because you don't have to do all 6. You can just do the first 3. When you're in it, we quickly do the map so that we can start proactively stretching through action how to repattern a new belief system and quiet down the one that you're consciously or unconsciously strengthening. We first have to identify those behaviors in order for you to stop doing them, so that your subconscious doesn't keep getting anchored in this belief of that you're devalued or ignored, or you're controlled or disapproved of, or, I mean, there's so many. Abandoned, right? If you have a core wound of abandonment, how do you abandon you? And if you abandon you by giving up on yourself, if you abandon you by saying something's too hard, I can't do it, if you abandon you by saying my dream is important, but no, I'm not willing to pay for it, or I'm not willing to stretch into it, isn't that abandoning yourself? And if you want someone to show up for you, this is your time to show up for you. You can't wait for external circumstances and people to give you the validation you're seeking. You have to create it and be it first. So to me, the conversation of law of attraction and core wounds goes hand in hand. In fact, this topic might be the new title of my book. I was starting to write the book and getting really into it about some of the things I've been teaching, but I don't want this next book to be a how-to. I don't want to hand you a how-to. I want to demonstrate for you the power of these two elements and why they're connected, how they're connected, and get people out of thinking that the spiritual side isn't messy, or that the core wound side is too deep. Because if you are beating the drum of something that you want but don't have, and you're not willing to look under the hood of the car to see what's broken, and I don't mean broken, you're not broken, you're not broken, you're not broken, you are just human. We're all human. We all have wounds. We all have parents that did the best they could, but they had their wounds too. So you're left with a choice of to do something about it, or to let it keep playing subconsciously, unconsciously, over and over and over until you're either sick, dying, broke, or in so much pain that you're ready to look at it. Now, most of this journey is actually quite exhilarating. I've had people say that even on their worst day, they are still happier than they've ever been in their entire lives. I've had people be able to say, oh my God, I actually value myself now after 3 months. I've had people say, oh my God, I used to do this to myself all the time and now I don't. I enjoy my alone time. I respect myself. I said no. I stopped performing for love. I mean, these are like major things. And when you are able to tackle those, manifestation gets easier because now you're on your side. You love and care for yourself and respect yourself at new levels. And as long as you're not focused on and telling a story about something negative, and you're focused in the direction of what you want to have happen, and you're in alignment, and you have support and accountability for that, you're probably manifesting more than you ever have in your entire life. And manifestation, by the way, is also feeling, because my very favorite Abraham quote is, the only reason you want what you want is because you think you'll feel better when you have it. And if you don't know that quote, please write it down, post it everywhere, say it every day. So the minute that you go to complain about a job, a person, a situation that needs to change because you're not happy with it, remember that the only reason why you want whatever it is that you want is because you think you'll feel happy when you get it. But that's the power. You can feel happy now, regardless, no matter what your circumstances are. In fact, you have to, in order for your circumstances to change. You have to make peace with where you are in order for where you are to change. It's not telling the universe that you want to be alone, or you want to be in debt, or you want to be ill. It's about finding relief. Finding that place where I have a little relief and I'm just going to let it go. And I'm going to trust that this is all in divine timing and that I'm taken care of and that things are going to work out as they always do, even if it doesn't look like it is. That all of the contrast in my life is shaping me and focusing me on what's coming next. And without it, shoot, I'd be stuck. I mean, if we look at my career since I started this podcast, so much has changed, but it all sharpened me. It made me better. It made me more focused. It made me manifest better and higher and easier and happier. Now, I have stuff on my list too that I want also. So I'm not like, there's no like, you're done. It's just that no matter where you are, you know how to be happy and in alignment. You know how to trust. You feel safe. You feel good in your body, in the world. Yes, you'll be triggered at times. I was triggered by a customer service issue the other day, and I sat with it for a couple of days, and I didn't say anything. And I thought, why am I triggered by this? Like, I'm really mad. And then I realized it's because it triggered devalued in me. It was a core wound of devalued. And once I understood that, I was like, oh, okay. And then it kind of dissipated. And then I found out some other information that changed everything. But in the moment, it all comes back to our own core wounds. The world is a reflection. It's a mirror back to you of what's going on inside of you. So rather than trying to control circumstances and people, threaten, change, paint the walls, move every time your relationship isn't going well, run away. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh out of disrespect. I've had this experience and I see it and it's insane to me. It's insane because it's as clear as day that we have to go inside and that we're the creator of our own reality. And we have to go inside to be able to fix that, to change that, to see things differently, to have a new belief or at least a new interpretation, because that to me is the name of the game. And when you start to work a little bit deeper on all of the beliefs that you have in your subconscious that are running the show, and you start to see how they play out in your life, now you have control and power. And I don't mean control in a controlling, I'm going to be safe kind of way, but now you have choice. There's a freedom that comes with being an observer of your emotions and of your life and saying, wow, look how I just behaved right there. What was that about? Oh, okay. Well, how do I change that? How do I release that? How do I heal that? So, law of attraction and core wounds to me goes hand in hand. But for those of you, maybe it didn't. And hopefully this cleared that up in case. So it is February and we start in March for the next Rewiring Your Core Wound Pattern program. It is a 3-month program There is no commitment to have to do the full 6 months. However, I am giving a significant discount for those that commit upfront to 6. And I already have several people who are signed up because what I've learned over the years is that while 3 months is it's definitely very effective. I'm very pleased with the results from people doing this for 3 months. But 6 months is so much more impactful and life-changing. And then, of course, even beyond that, because wherever you are in your life, you've been doing whatever you've been doing for well over 6 months, well over 2 years, well over 5 years, well over 10 years, and maybe even 20 years. So what is 3 months going to do for all of that? Well, it can make a lot of change. But a little longer can really embed and integrate that into your beingness so that you come out a different person and that you see the world differently and that you're happier, you're more confident, you feel free, and you have tools to make you feel safe and secure and knowing that no matter what happens to you or for you, and they're both the same, that you know what to do about it and you know how to get what your needs are, you know how to soothe your emotions as well as explore them and process them and not stuff them. You know how to take care of yourself. And you know how to do it really well. So if you're interested, there's no cost to apply. We just jump on a call. It's jjflizanes.com/rewire. It's a small group coaching program. So there's not a lot of people that are in it for several reasons. And I don't know when I'll do it again. I'm sure I will. I just don't know when, if it'll be this year or next year, because I definitely want to do it when there's a 6 month, like we're able to go the full 6 months. I did last year, I did a 3. And then I did Awaken Your Dream Life, and those people that did the 3 came to Awaken Your Dream Life, so they had more than 3 months. But I really, really feel strongly that I want to give people an opportunity, if they feel inspired and changed, to keep going and complete the 6 month. So with that said, jjflizanes.com/rewire, and I'd love you to join the 14-day manifestation challenge. It starts this Friday, February 16th. jjflizanes.com/14day14DAY.